am on an awesome subject of how to use your network to find an amazing opportunity, a career, and a job. And let's get going on this. I know you guys are experts in the field, and to really introduce this topic, to lean on your network and secure opportunities by doing so. It's we're going to discuss preparation, finding where you want to work and what you want to do before using your network. If you want to check out a specific company or a more meaningful type of company or product service that you want to engage with. So I am joined with Bob Britz, founder of Career Coach, and Natalie West, who is a certified career coach and partner of the Career Coach program. And let's dig into this. I'm really excited. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks, and I know that we all have had our own experiences with our network and how they've helped us in the past. And I know that you two are the experts on this subject. So let's get started. Natalie, I know that we're going to start with you because you had a fun topic to discuss, and I think you've got a famous friend that you're going to be talking about as well. So thanks again for joining me.
Well, I think friend might be a stretch. I think he would think it was a real stretch. But um, uh, I have, I'm in close proximity to someone. Let's put it that way. So,
Okay.
what we do at Career Coach when we talk to professionals who have quite a bit of experience, they are seasoned professionals typically. This can happen for anyone, honestly, but I think we see most of it with people that have a lot of experience. They're high level, they're C suite, they're, looking for another opportunity. It's not going to make sense really for them to submit their uh, resumes to Indeed to look for a position. It seems ridiculous for them to go that route. So, really, what we try to do with those individuals to help them move their career along is we use a product that we call influence networking. And what it does is it takes into account your sphere of influence. Everyone has a sphere of influence. And that's why we talk about Kevin Bacon, because when I talk to my clients, I'll say, I can help you find your Kevin Bacon. I know I can. And then if they're young people, I have to explain it and it's not funny anymore. But the people that know who Kevin Bacon is, they think it's funny because, of course, I'm talking about the 6 degrees of separation where different people can trace themselves back to Kevin Bacon in a movie because of people that they are, working with in other movies or on the set of another different movie. So it's kind of fun to do that. And I, you get on Facebook and you see that two of your friends are friends and you had no idea. How do these people know this? It's just unbelievable. It's like, how do they know each other? And how did I not know they knew each other? And so it's things like that that make you go, hmm. So what we do with our clients is we will take a look at, obviously we get their resume ready. We help them to optimize their LinkedIn profile because that's very important too. LinkedIn is all about networking these days. LinkedIn is all about building your network. It's not about getting so many contacts because you can have contacts and you can have connections. But if you don't really have a connection with those people, you know, they're just acquaintances. They're people that you can get to. They're not necessarily people that you know. I do try to meet with people when they connect with me in order to just at least put a face with a name and talk about what we do because I think that's important. Um, so what we do with our clients is we will finish up their resume and their LinkedIn. We also provide cover letters with that package, but we have a package that we call Influence Networking. And what it does is it's a process for them to be able to put a list of people together that they know. It's not usually those people that will help you out. There may be some people there that could help you to find a job, but it's usually who they know. So if I know 100 people and I contact them, and these are, let's take Facebook because everybody understands that you're doing life with people on Facebook. But if you have all these Facebook friends, look at them. I mean, if they're like me, they have more than 200 connections. I think I'm up to like 500 connections in there. And unbelievably, I do know most of them. So, if they each know 500, look at how many people that you would have the opportunity to, be connected with. So what it does is it's a numbers game. Sales talks about numbers games all the time. Well, this is a numbers game. And sometimes all you need to do is to put it out there and ask. And people are like, oh, I didn't know you were looking for a job. Oh, I didn't know you were thinking about transitioning in your career. Who do I know that might really need your services? Because I'm working with an individual right now who's been developing software and helping companies, in the tech world for a long time. And even as I'm talking to him, my mind is spinning and I'm thinking, I need to connect him with so and so and this person. And my gosh, he has so much, in common with these people. And then I talk about it. And then other people are saying, well, you know what? We need that at our business. Can you give me his name and number? You never know. And so that's why it's so important for the people to walk through the process with us. It's usually about 5 to 9 weeks when people work with us that they land a job, not, 5 to 9 months. What they're looking for is they're looking for people that they can connect with. You may have a young person that's just, had about 5 years experience, but they're really trying to break into a certain field. Somebody's uncle may be in that field. Let's say it's data science. I know somebody who's going into data science. So if you're a person out there that is looking for a new person, I have someone for you. Anyway, so let's say it's data science, and you're like, they just need to get in and talk to somebody about what their career path might look like. How do they manage that career path? So they're looking at getting in, talking to that person, not going in and asking them for a job, but they're
Right.
going in and they're talking to them about, this is where I've been. What would be my next step? Because with young people, you're always looking at, you're making steps in your career in order to move yourself forward, and looking long term, how do I need to get there? So what they would do is they would go by our process in order to be able to contact them, and we have it down to the, like Bob was talking about it earlier. To we have it down to where people can utilize scripts that we write. And so it's not necessarily that you have to use the same script, but it may give you enough to be able to come up with your own. So it's a script that you can use when you're talking to someone, and you can say, I just need to get in and would like to talk to you about what a career path in this field would look like. And you're someone that knows so and so. And so I was wondering if you would have a few minutes to talk to me, or maybe meet me for coffee or whatever. Many times you will meet somebody like that, and you'll go in and you'll talk to them, and you'll have them go over your resume and see, what would you suggest for my next steps, because I really want to move in this direction. And what they may do is they may say, you know, we don't have anything in this specific area, but if you're moving towards this, we do have another position, or I have a friend in another company that's looking for someone right now. And so what they do is they end up running into someone that can help them, or has a different position that will help them. And so it's usually a connection that they're making, no matter what. So the great thing is that they're getting out there, they're meeting new people, they're spreading and broadening their connections and their network,
Hmm.
and you just don't know who knows who. And this is my funny story, is that a lot of my friends who know me, and people that I've worked with who know me, have no idea, because I kind of save it for that thing. Write down, when you're doing those icebreakers, write down something that somebody may not know about you. There's very few things that people don't know about me, even the crazy things. But this one, people would probably be surprised that I am in close relation, like related to someone who is in close relation to Brad Pitt. I mean, if I ever needed to really get a hold of Brad Pitt, I could probably get to him. I don't really have that, so I'm just hanging on to it, I just know that I could. But I mean, 'cause people are looking for Brad Pitt, you know
Well, you could lean on Kevin Bacon too, because
well,
we're
yeah, because they were
as
probably in a movie together at some point in time.
well, and as Chuck said too, it's 7 degrees of separation. So I think we're all kind of split. Is it six, seven,
Oh,
or
I thought
eight?
it was
But
6.
either way, I thought it was six as well. But Chuck, he might be knowledgeable in the Kevin Bacon, but I think you're so right, Natalie, that it's really to lean on these network folks. Let me ask you a question. I know you're going to get into a couple of other items, but I'm just really curious. So if you were to lean on networks, that not everybody is going to be welcoming necessarily to helping you because they're also concerned about their reputation and their role in the company. Do you find that as something that it impedes the effort of maybe reaching out to your network, or do they politely say no, thank you, or they just politely don't help you? Have you experienced that as well?
I have, and I think that that's people's biggest fear is that they're going to, hurt their relationship by asking, but I don't think they are because they can preface that with they can preface that with um, don't do this if you're not really comfortable with it, but I would really love to be able to get in and talk to someone, and I promise you I won't ask for a job. I'm just asking for advice. I'm asking for career help and guidance.
Yeah.
because because I've had people ask me like, hey, can you introduce me, and pretty early on if that person's maybe not going to be qualified, or you don't want to flat out say maybe this isn't really a good company for you because you kind of know maybe some inside scoop, maybe the isn't aligned, or maybe they're just simply not hiring for that role. And there's that other of where they might just not be qualified, period. So but I
Right.
think that that's also a good opportunity to refer these people to you, align themselves with opportunities that could be more suitable for their skill set and experience level. So I think those are great things. So tell us more. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
I wanted to know about that because I have seen it, I've experienced it. And especially as a seasoned employee, they've got a lot at stake. So they're not maybe always going to be super helpful when it comes to somebody hitting them up for support or an introduction. So
right.
thank you for that.
And I can only imagine people like Brad Pitt get hit up for everything all the time. So when he hears Natalie West would like to talk to you, I'm pretty sure he's like, I don't even know who that is. Although it is an actor. She was on Roseanne Barr show.
But
Anyway,
But his celebrity star has fallen slightly over the last couple of years. So maybe we need to just, look at maybe some younger heartthrobs. Maybe we could,
there you go.
I don't know,
There you
but I think we probably have a better shot at being aligned with Brad Pitt and Kevin Bacon than perhaps some rising star that is a little
go. That
bit
could be
younger.
true.
So tell us about the advantages of when they look at these people, when they use these folks to utilize these relationships to obtain a new position. The advantages of going that route versus going through Indeed or the other job bot companies that you're likely going to be sitting there with 900 million other people doing the same thing. So tell us about the advantages of leaning on the network versus the other aspect of looking for a
Well, I
job.
kind of think that a lot of it depends on your situation. Like I said, if there's someone that's in a very specific field, like being a data scientist or being in a specific engineering um, degree or things like that that are very technical, I think that there is a lot more opportunity for you to get into the specific place that you want to be if you go through your network. I think that for people who have a lot of experience and who have a lot of contacts and utilize their network already, it's really a given that they're going to use their network to be able to move their career forward or to put them in a position where they can utilize their giftings in the way that they want to. Um, so anyway, I think it just depends on where they're at. I think that people that are in mid-level positions sometimes could use it. It depends on what their situation is again, but it also depends on, the specificity of what they're looking at. Because I am always a big believer in people shadowing for jobs to make sure that that's what they want to do,
Right.
to really be able to understand it. And to be honest, there's a lot of people out there that are so excited that someone wants to shadow and see if they like it, and to be able to shine a light on the good things about their business or good things about their career, that I think they're willing to do that. And as for being able to, refer someone, sometimes I'll refer someone and I'll just say, I know someone that's looking for a job, but I know them through a third party. So I just want you to know that I'm not saying that they're the right person for you. I'm just saying I know this. I know that they are looking for a job. So this is not a personal recommendation, but this is just a person who needs an opportunity, to speak to someone. And so that kind of takes the onus off of me if people feel responsible for that. Um, and that way it really kind of takes the pressure off.
Hmm.
Um, so to say. So I think that if people are worried about that aspect of it, then you just kind of have to talk to them, and most people are willing to help. Most people are like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I would love to do that for you." They never considered it because, like, if I grew up in Bible school, and it always said, if you don't ask, or you don't have because you don't ask. It's in James somewhere. Somebody really wants to look it up,
Well,
but we don't ask a lot of the time, so we don't have.
That's right.
Well, and what Chuck has mentioned, and it's so true. Chuck and I, we talk about mentoring all the time, and that shadowing, he says, is also a great way to mentor people. And there's been times in my career where I've seen a field guy or even an office person, of the younger generation, and I'll see their skill set, I'll see their motivation or enthusiasm, and I'll say, hey, I've noticed this is the contributions that you've made, and it really stands out to me. Have you talked to management about asking for, a role that might be open, or putting in for a future role, or letting them know that you're ready? And so when you're taking your more seasoned approach, and you go and bring somebody up, and it's because of you that you've helped that, it's those have been some of the most meaningful experiences that I've done, and it's not because they've come up to me necessarily, but I've observed and I've seen their talent and their special skill set to be able to help them go up a little bit faster. It's happened for me, and that's also something for folks to take a look at too. Look around you. Look in your office. The front desk girl. She doesn't want to be there her whole career. She's probably a bright-eyed, I don't care what age, but they likely probably want to get a lot more involved in the company. So I've always enjoyed getting to know my colleagues, and really understanding, their goals, and where they want to go as far as their career aspirations. So that's also something that I highly suggest. So those are great tips, Natalie. Is there something else that you wanted to add to that before we segue over to Bob and what he has to
No,
bring
I
to
I
us
would just
today?
say don't never be afraid to ask, because the worst that they can say to you is no.
Yeah.
Good point.
Cool.
Great point. Thank you for that.
Well, there's a lot of things to think about when you're looking into your network. And at Career Coach, we have 20 offices in 14 states. So we're using this all across the country. We've served over 8,800 individuals. And there's probably, a good third of them who have done this process successfully. But it didn't start here. The reason that this process was designed was when I was going to change jobs back in 2005, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to go into next. I was meeting with a friend of mine who said to me, he goes, "Well, how many jobs have you had?" And I said, well, if you go back to my eighth grade summer when I was a janitor at a burger restaurant, I've had 15 jobs. He goes, "Okay, make a list and then write down how many companies you interviewed with on either side of that before you got the job that you took each time." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I've never thought about that before." So I sat down and made the list of companies, And I came back to him and I said, Scott, I said, I have gotten the job every single time I interviewed. Every time. In eighth grade, my science teacher walked me past the counter, past the grill, into the owner's office and said, hire this kid, he's smart, for $1.60 an hour. But I still got the job, right? And my biggest job was with a global software company, and I was managing the Western 10 states for them. $275 million revenue number, close to 185 employees. And the woman who had the job called me on the phone and said, I'm stepping down. Do you want my job?
Wow.
Unbelievable, right? But it's all about the network. And when we talk to people about the network, kind of to gather what Natalie was saying and bring it back to kind of more of a structure, you create a narrative of what you want. I want this title. I think I'm worth this much. I want to commute this far. I want to work with these kind of companies. It's kind of a wish list. And when you bring your list of people together, and people always, a lot of times people say, I don't know enough people to do this. And I'll tell you a fun story about that in a moment. But what it really comes down to is two factors. How well do they know you? And how influential are they? And the influence piece is really as the softer side of it because you can have somebody who's an executive in a company who kind of knows you through LinkedIn, who in no way is going to help you connect to a job. It's too much gravitas given up. They don't know you well enough to trust you. They will not help you. So every time someone tells you to go into LinkedIn, your network, and start talking and making relationships with people, that is a zero sum game for finding a job. It almost never works unless you get really, really lucky. So what we figured out is that how well somebody knows you is far more important than how influential they might be. But influence comes in different packages as well. The other side of that is there's people in your community that just know everybody, right?
Mhm.
The spouse of the soccer coach on your kid's soccer team knows all the parents, where they work, whether they're working or not, are they hiring? They know this. Your barber, your beautician, the UPS driver, you would be shocked to know how many people they actually know and have relationships with. And yet we don't think of them when we're looking for a job in tech or marketing or something else. It's not about who you know. And Natalie said this earlier. It's about who they know. Okay? So I'm a career coach. I know lots of people who are in jobs. But if you wanted to get into retail grocery and you didn't ask me, you would never know that I've been friends with Steve Bird, who was the former CEO of Safeway stores, now Albertsons, for 20 years. And if you're going to go into banking, I know the vice president of Wells Fargo. He's retired as well. His name's Paul Ackerman. But if he didn't ask me, you can't be told no. You've heard that probably a zillion times in your life, right? So oftentimes people tell us that I don't know enough people. I can't do this. I can't do this. And the program is designed for two types of people in the world. Introverts love it because it's a step by step process they can follow. Even the voicemails are scripted for them. And they can go from the top to the bottom and have these meetings with people. And the whole purpose of that meeting is get to refer to someone else that they know. And when that referral happens, it's someone that they know and they're introducing you to them and introducing them to you. And they just simply say, would you guys chat about career development? And like Natalie said, it's never about asking for a job. It is always asking for career help. And when that email goes out to that person, that gets a 100% response rate because it's a personal friend talking to a personal friend on a business level. It always gets answered, as opposed to submitting online endlessly and getting zero
Right.
responses, right? So you're moving in a better direction. They refer you into a company. Someone in the company, typically, it depends how old the person is, but most of the people that are over 40, all their peers are managers, directors, vice presidents, and business owners. So when they refer you in, you're talking to someone who can absolutely make a decision. And they go, hey, that Kevlin gal, man, she's amazing. I want to hire her. And they walk down to HR and say, how do I do this? Because they don't know. All they know is there's a desk over there that gets filled somehow, and HR is the winner. HR hears that and goes, hallelujah, because I'm not going to spend 50 or 60 or 80 or $100,000 on referral fees from a recruiter. But more importantly, I'm not going to waste 15 weeks talking to people I don't care about. It's a win, 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 right? It meets all of the discrimination elements. It meets all of the DEI elements. It meets all the elements people are looking at because you're using your own network to get in the company. So I'm talking to the engineering club at San Luis Obispo. A friend of mine was a student, invited me there, and I'm talking on stage, and I'm getting this feedback. We don't know anybody. We're introverted. We can't do this, right? And so I get this bright idea, and I say, okay, Kevin Bacon. I said, pick anybody in the world. I said, it doesn't have to be Justin Bieber. There's a more current version of that, right? Justin Bieber. Doesn't have to be Justin Bieber, but at least pick someone that we all know who they are. Okay? And they sat there, and I'm on stage thinking, I'm going to die up here because these guys are so quiet. And finally, this kid in the back raises his hand and he says, I want to date the president's daughter. Now you can go back and figure out how long ago that was. And I said, okay, does anybody in the room know the presidential family? And it was crickets. No one even made a move. And I thought, this is not going to work. Okay, does anybody know anybody that knows the presidential family, right? Get another layer back. And I stood there again. I'm like, this is killing me. And this kid in the front row raises his hand and he says, my father is close personal friends with the Secretary of State. And I went back to the kid in the back of the room and I said, okay, if you wrote a note, gave it to your friend up here in front, he gave it to his father, the father gave it to the Secretary of State, Secretary of State gave it to the president's wife, and that note would get read. And their jaws dropped. And I said, we just did that in a minute and 45 seconds with 50 people that don't even really know each other. Don't tell me you can't find a job using your network. Right? And this has happened over and over and over again. I had a gal just yesterday. I was doing a catch-up call with her. She's in the middle of her search, and 2 weeks ago, she calls me up. She goes, I'm going to be one of those clients that gets past 9 weeks in your program." And I said, "Really?" And she says, "Yeah. Well, okay. It's probably 8 weeks since we started the actual networking part of it." But I said, "Okay, we'll just keep going." We went through some things she was doing. I talked to her last night. Last night. She's got one job offer coming. She's in final negotiations with two other companies, and there's a fourth one that's interested. And now she's saying to them, "My offers are coming in. If you're interested in me, we need to step up the interview game to get this resolved." Now
That's
that's
awesome.
control in your job
Yeah.
search.
Yep.
And she's worth about $250,000 a year. She's a marketing person, a director, but was very scared and nervous about doing this because she just didn't believe it would work. And it works every stinking time.
So obviously, Bob, you've got so much experience here, and I've been watching your career over the years, and you've got this process down to a T. And I'm super excited, super proud of you for the dedication and diligence for helping over 8,000 executives, professionals land on their feet and find meaningful employment and opportunities. And that this is really what this is about, is to lean on each other, really, whether it's Kevin Bacon, Brad Pitt, Justin Bieber, or their girlfriends, what have you, and really take a look at how we can utilize that. And so basically, y'all can get a hold of us on LinkedIn. We're all on LinkedIn, obviously. And Bob Britz, Natalie West, myself, Kevin Pascos, go ahead to our profile pages, find our profile picture down below, contact links, and we each all bring a certain value to the table here. Bob, obviously, you're founder of Career Coach. You've got how many coaches under your roof
Right now, we
now?
have 20 coaches in 14 states.
14. I mean, that's amazing. So you're pretty much US
Yep.
wide. I'm US wide. I can help remotely and in person as well. But my expertise is helping executives and companies generate growth and revenue ROI through business development and strategic marketing. And really, it doesn't really even matter, again, with you, the executive or where they want to go. It's our processes
Right.
that help connect the dots in towards the successful outcome of what we have to offer. So I think you guys did a really nice job of explaining how we can lean on our network, and that is obviously we think that there might not be, well, I don't know, but I don't know anybody, I don't know anybody, but that's so not true. It's farthest from the truth. And that if we really think about it and also work with you as guidance counselors in a way that you can help anybody find their perfect job in 5 to 9 weeks, not in 5 to 9 months, where I've been there. It takes that time if you do it on your own. And I'm just really honored to be aligned with this program that you have for us today. And really, other than talking about this, what do you have any offers for our folks that are on with us today that you can share, or in the links point them to a direction where they can learn a little bit more about what you do? And I'm happy to share the same before we sign off. So
Well, I was just going to say, everybody tells you to network. I mean, that's the most common thing you hear. Nobody ever tells you exactly how to do it. Ever. We do. And it's been proven several thousand times. So for me, for a company, and this is true for all of our coaches, you can go to our website, careercoachsvc.com, and all of our coaches that are active are listed on there. You can book a meeting with them and start an alignment conversation, which is free of charge. I offer that as well. I only do so many because I'm trying to run a company too. But Natalie certainly has the bandwidth and the expertise. Natalie's been with us for over 3 years now and has been really an anchor coach for us. She's been fantastic to work with. I appreciate her sarcasm quite a bit.
I love it too. I do. Yeah, she's
But, but,
great.
but that's, if you need to move forward with this, you can start with your resume, certainly. But once you get alignment, you just move through the process, and it works every time.
So that's awesome. I do. Maybe we could at some point learn a little bit more about how people can really get involved in this, and expectations and what they need to bring to the table to work with all of us. And I think that could be something that we could explore in a little bit granular format. But I love working with you guys, and I just, again, we're here to help others. We're here to really support and guide folks to better their lives, to find more meaningful work and opportunities. And we hope that this was of value to you today. Again, you can reach all of us on LinkedIn, our Facebook, or I'm sure we're on Facebook as well, but today it's LinkedIn. And go ahead and go to our profile picture, contact information. I've got a link tree that's in my contact information. I also offer a 30-minute free alignment to find out how I can help your business grow and generate more revenue. And same with Natalie and Bob. Go ahead and go to their LinkedIn pages, profile picture, contact link, and we hope to be of service to you again in the future. And thank you for joining us
Great.
today.
Thanks, Kev.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone.